what's up? Check out this blunt and honest review from the Jock and Nerd Podcast. That's us. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the jock.
He's the nerd.
And he's the rug boy.
What's up, guys?
Jock and Nerd. All right, let's get to this week's review, fellas. Changing gears completely from Daredevil, we are going to be reviewing this year's Best Picture winner at the Oscars, Anora. Here's your spoilers.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
This is the movie that just won 5 out of 6 nominated Oscars. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. So, a lot of awards. Sean Baker setting a record for one person has never won 4 Oscars in the same night for the same movie. It's him now.
Wow.
Yeah. Nobody else has done that. Walt Disney did do that, not for the same movie in the 50s. But that's a pretty big achievement. The movie currently is on, you can rent for $6, but everyone, March 17th, it will be available on Hulu. So, though everybody can check out the Best Picture winner. Currently on the Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has a 93% critics tomato meeting. Meat rating. You know when the tomatoes meet and they talk about movies?
Is this the tomato meter or the pork meter? What are you talking about here?
It's the meeting of the tomatoes. 93%, 88% audience score. The movie was made for $6 million. This is a very indie film.
Whoa.
But makes box office $42 million. Which is not a lot, but it's a lot on a $6 million budget. Also tells you not a lot of people really went out to see this because it was, opening weekend, it was open in, I think, 6 theaters across the country. Then it opened wider. So this is as indie as you get.
Neon film.
Neon is one of the companies that recently formed in 2017. They've been winning a lot of Oscars lately. I found this stat. This is interesting. Movie made for $6 million, right? They spent $18 to $20 million just on the Oscar campaign, marketing, and distribution.
Yeah, I heard.
Of this movie. Over 3 times as much. It does get them rewards. It gets them all these Oscars.
What does that actually do for them, all this investment? They just higher profile?
It wins. They did the same thing with Parasite. They spent $20 million in 2019 for Parasite and
higher
won
profile,
Best Picture.
and then there's usually an Oscar effect too, right? Like, so we're all watching the movie now. They can make more money on the movie. And I think for a lot of these studios, there's still a lot of prestige in terms of winning the Oscar. So
cachet, you want to
I guess when they want to be the next A24 or something.
Yeah, A24, both of them are doing the same thing.
Both of them are pretty similar. Neon won. You said Parasite, right? Yeah.
But Neon and A24 really outperforming major studios in the Oscars in the last couple of years. Like, it's quite a thing to watch. It also, they won all those Oscars, but they also won their run-up awards. There's some BAFTAs, some SAGs, some DGAs, I believe. This movie won a lot of awards this Oscar season. Again, it was written, directed, produced, and edited by Sean Baker, who has done what movies, Ruggs?
The Florida Project, Tangerine.
I think I've seen The Florida Project.
William Dafoe's in that.
Red Rocket. So just a couple of small movies.
Yeah, movies about hookers, movies about people who live in crazy apartment buildings.
Yeah. Starring Mikey Madison as the titular Anora, or Annie, as she likes to be called. Mikey Madison from
Did you say titular on purpose?
Titular.
Did you use that word?
Yes.
I think so.
Did I? No one will know. But we've seen her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in the Scream reboots. And then a couple of these. The other guy, the name I want to mention is the guy who played Igor Yura Borisov. I think he also got a nomination for supporting or something. And the rest of the people, you're not really going to know. Paul Wiseman, Lindsay Normington. It's a good cast, though. It is rated R. It's 2 hours and 19 minutes long. Anthony, what's Anora about?
Anora is about a dancer, some would call a stripper back in the day, that stumbles or happens to meet one of her nights that she's working, a young Russian kid who is the son of very rich parents. and they form a relationship that first starts off with him paying her for dances and then sex, and then later on leads into a much deeper relationship that gets both of them in trouble.
Yeah, it's a fairy tale first half and then a crazy second half.
Fairy tale for, I mean, you know, in terms of maybe for us, a dancer, not necessarily a fairy tale story.
Not fairy tale story, but definitely a stripper hits the jackpot story.
Right, yeah.
Very Pretty Woman, kind of like Pretty Woman, but darkly comic.
It's Pretty Woman with parents.
Yes, when the parents are involved. All right, we'll get into everything, but Anthony, I want to know from you overall, what'd you think of this movie?
So I walked into this movie and I barely had any, other than it winning Best Picture, I didn't really know what the plot was. I remember we talked about it briefly, but it never stuck. And then very briefly, I looked at a quick synopsis and went, "Oh yeah, okay, this is about a dancer, a stripper."
Right.
That's all I knew.
Yeah.
Watched the movie with a friend of mine, and I had a great time watching this movie. I thought it was really good. I was pleasantly surprised by by how funny it was. How one of the things I felt right from the beginning is how real it felt.
Yeah. I
don't know when the last time you two elderly men have been inside of a establishment like that.
Yeah.
But mine hasn't been that long since I've been in one of those establishments. And let me tell you, that's how it is. The way the girls talk and the way the dances, like, I thought that did a really good job of capturing what it is, how it is like back there in those rooms with the way they talk to you and all that. Like, a lot of movies kind of glamorize it, but I mean even the dialogue of them being like, "Oh, you want to go in the back, baby, VIP," like, you know, all that stuff. Like, that's really how it is. So it just felt very, very real. And then it became this comedy with the Russian kid, and I was laughing at him and, you know, their situation. And then you have a lot of fun throughout the movie, and there's a lot of sex and boobies. That definitely ropes you in if you're into that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you have the turn, and all of a sudden it's, you know, trying to track down this Russian with the parents, and you're wondering where Mikey even fits into all of this. And then the ending is all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this is happening. And then it just ends and you go, oh my gosh, what? So it was quite a movie experience. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I can't say for sure if this is the best movie of the year since I haven't seen all the other movies, but I thought it was a good movie. I liked it a lot.
All right.
Very entertained.
Yeah. Ruggs, opening thoughts? Were you entertained?
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was a good movie. I like his movies, Sean Baker's movies. I feel like the thing that he does really well is that he creates this feeling of reality.
Yeah.
All right. Now, unfortunately, I feel like there's a couple of times in this movie where I feel like the reality breaks, and which is okay, fine. But overall, I feel like it was very, very good. And I don't know. I can't really say though that it is the best movie I've seen this year.
Right.
But I think it's very good, very good. Like it was good. I mean, look, it's got very pretty women with their clothes off a lot of the time. It's got comedy. It's got New York, which I love when they do a New York film. It's got the reality of New York. The neighborhoods, Coney Island's in there, all the stuff that's my playground. Okay. Yeah. So it was nice to see all that stuff, and it was handled very well. So I feel like, it's easy to fall in love with this movie. So I had a good time with it.
I also really had a great time with this movie. And like you, Anthony, I just knew a little bit. I knew exactly that. It's about dancer. I don't know. I didn't want to know anything else. And it's a really charming, fun, funny movie. The characters are great. I love the way it kind of resembles like a 70s New York movie, the way they shot it. Like some of it reminded me of like Warriors, like the way Warriors looked from the 70s. This cinema verite style of filmmaking.
It reminded me of Kids.
Or Kids, yes, where it just seemed like you were there. This slice of life story of these characters was great. And I love the first half had me feeling like, man, I wish I was a kid of a Russian oligarch. This is I'm so jealous. And then the second half, I'm like, I'm really glad I'm not the son of a Russian oligarch, actually. But it's got this crazy first half, and the second half almost feels like a Tarantino-esque type of turn
Not quite,
a little bit,
yeah,
a little bit without much of the danger. But suddenly, this whole first half of her meeting him, quitting the strip club, going to Vegas, having a blast, enjoying his money, and they get married, and you're like, all right, great, everybody's happy. Where's the conflict? And then they bring in the conflict, and it's fantastic, and you get to meet all these new characters.
I wouldn't go Tarantino-esque, but I mean, you kind of like. At some point, I was watching with one of my friends, and I go, "The other shoe is going to drop on this. Like, this is too good of a story,
right?"
So you can kind of see I don't know if it's like a twist, but you can see where this is going. But this is all. It's too good to be true for everyone involved.
Well, there's a dead giveaway, I think, because when they get to the house and he's just sitting there playing video games
the whole time,
and he's just like he's not on business calls or doing anything, it's like, oh, that's mommy and daddy's money, and they don't want him. No, I don't care what parents you have. They don't, especially if you're rich parents, you don't want your kid marrying a hooker. I mean, like, it's just plain as day. They're not going to be like, oh, let's give her a chance.
Right.
So what's coming.
Here's the thing:
how it happens is funny,
and she would argue that she's not a prostitute and not a hooker.
What? Okay.
She didn't really need much convincing.
No, she just she was like, okay.
I mean, she's definitely banging him for money.
Yes,
I think that at some point she might develop feelings for. I don't know if she did. To me, the way the movie plays out is, I don't know that she might develop feelings for him just because of the attention, but she's really just developed a love for the lifestyle he provides.
That's what I think. My question, is, does she really love him, or loves the lifestyle?
She doesn't necessarily like love him, but the situation she goes through with the parents and the way he talks to her after makes her feel really like, even though she probably doesn't love him, the whole situation really makes her feel like garbage.
Well, look, I think it's not about love. I think it's about feeling she's like this, I guess, this lower life form, right?
She's not respected.
Right.
She's not respected to them.
Yes.
She's like, she thought that she was ascending to this new life. And she's like, even the people in the strip club, she's like, oh, fuck you. I'm no longer one of you anymore.
Yeah, they set up her nemesis, Diamond, and she walks out.
And, she's like finally free. She's finally ascended to another level where she's a person.
Right.
And people have to listen to her. And all of a sudden that's ripped away. I think that's what she was probably fighting for more than love.
Yeah, because I thought the scene was hilarious, but when the Armenian guys come in and they're trying to figure out what's going on and get the marriage certificate, she's basically like, "Get the fuck out of my house!" Like she's talking like she owns it. She's like, and she's all telling
my house,
and she's telling the kid, what's the guy's name? The guy she marries,
Ivan.
Anya, she's telling Ivania that, if just let me meet your parents and we'll talk to them. Like she's definitely feels like she's ascended. I think that the real kick in the gut is when she meets those parents and she starts talking in Russian to them. And then the mom is just like, "Your Russian's pathetic."
Yeah. And he lies to her, he tells her, "I did tell my parents, you'll get to meet them." Okay, wait. I want to get into all that.
Are you going to narrate the entire plot?
No. I agree that the opening strip club scene just seemed very real, and I think she ad-libbed a lot. I love Mikey Madison's Brooklyn accent.
Her accent to me sounded real. I don't know if it doesn't sound real to you.
What do you think, Russ? I thought she did a good job.
Say 65%. I would say 60.
I thought she did a good job. The only thing I could have used a little more is maybe a little more character of her outside of her job.
I think that actually makes the movie a little bit weaker because there's not let me jump to the end, but when there's a couple of moments in this movie where we need to know her background just to see what we're dealing with here. Right. And there's two moments in the movie. One when the mother threatens her about ruining her life. And you don't even know what life that she has other than her roommate wanted her to pick up milk.
Yeah.
That's it.
I do love
You don't really know anything about her life.
Yeah.
So she said something about her sister at one point.
I think that's her sister that lives with her.
That's what I was wondering.
We don't even know if it's
right. No, but I love like the little bit of character we get is just that scene where she's like, "Did you get the milk?" And she's like, "Did you see any milk? I didn't pick up the fucking milk." It's fucking great. That's all you get. But when she was when the mom threatened her, I'll take your house, your car. I was like, this girl has nothing to lose. Apparently, why should she even be threatened by this? She's got nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if she's got nothing. I think she is living with her sister. And I don't think, to me, I don't think you necessarily need the peek into behind her life, because the way her life is presented with her, like, I think you get enough where you can go, I can form what her life is outside of this. She's basically, all she's doing is dancing at the club and then sleeping during the day and smoking a vape, and like there's no path for her. It doesn't look like.
Right. This was, and they wanted to show this community, right? The stripper, dancer, sex worker community, whatever, and kind of show what they're really like, the real. And I think they did a good job about that. But it would have been nice to see a little.
Really, you think they did a good job based on what?
Based on, I was going to say the handful of times that I have
on the community you've been in,
have been in strip clubs, it did seem very authentic.
It does seem, that I would agree. It does seem authentic.
No, what do you think, Rex? Huh?
I have personal experience, but anyway.
Well, you do have different personal.
Well, the way they talk about going to the back, like, that's real. Like, all the girls.
I would say that.
She's like, you want to go to the ATM, baby? Come on, let's get you some cash. Come on.
I would say all the stuff that happens in the club seems pretty legit.
But then I was like, what does she see in Ivan, really? He's kind of there's nothing there. He's kind of a dick.
What do you mean? Wait a minute. What does she see in Ivan?
Yeah.
This guy lives in a mansion.
That's what I'm saying.
Just paid her. What is she? You really think she needs to see more than that?
No.
Listen, I could. How many times have you seen a fucking rich guy with a hot girl?
That's true.
Every single time.
That is true.
Okay,
that is true.
That's what happens.
Like, why is she? Oh, I guess.
Especially an old one. Yes. Like an old shriveled up rich dude with like a 20-year-old girl.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and this one's interesting. He's
Bill
actually
Belichick.
He's younger than her. Even it's kind of interesting, but So, anyways, okay. So when it all changes, when Igor and Garnick show up and they call Toros, so we meet Toros, who has to leave a fucking baptism.
Oh, I love. But you got to stop right there.
Yeah,
the scene where Garnick or Gawar, I forgot what his name is.
Garnick and Igor.
Garnick and Igor are in the house.
Yeah,
and they're looking for the marriage certificate to prove that he did get married, and they send it to Toros. And Toros is in the baptism, dressed up, and looks at his phone and just yells during the baptism, "No!"
It's like, I gotta
go. So it's so good.
It is here where Anora learns that Ivan maybe is not. She doesn't learn yet, but he runs off. He fucking essentially leaves her behind. And this whole
it's coming apart that him getting married to her isn't necessarily like him becoming a citizen. It's like not. She thinks it'll end the relationship with the parents, but that's not. He overpromised to her what was really happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, he lied to her, and he just did it to get back at him, and he, they don't get along, obviously. But
I think he's just doing it just to live out as much things as he can do before he has to go back.
Before he has to go back, yeah. And he's, I mean, the party scenes where I was like, these guys go fucking hard.
He's not really thinking about what he's doing. He's just doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, because he's used to it. He's having
fun with this girl.
Yeah.
This girl seems to be like, she like completely submits to his life.
Yeah.
She just sits there while he plays video games, and then every once in a while gets him to fuck. Yeah.
$15,000 for 1 week for his girlfriend. I guess it's not bad. That's not bad. I do like when he's like, I would have done it. You could ask for 30. So the whole scene where Garnick tells Igor after Vanya runs off, don't let her leave. First of all, Annie fucks up Garnick too, kicks him in the face, breaks his nose, and then Igor has to. It's kind of funny and crazy, and he ties her up with the phone cord, and she's yelling.
Well, he's tying up with the phone cord, and Toros is on the phone. You can just hear him go,
it's like,
are you killing her? What are you doing? Are you killing her?
And Garnick comes back. He's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Untie her. He's like, she's going to run. He's like, I don't care. And he ties her and she runs. He's like, I told you. And then he's got to grab her. And then Toros is like, why is she on top of you? What the fuck is happening? And they're both screaming over each other. It's hilarious.
It is very, that whole, when you inject the two guys, it's very almost, not to the same level, but it's very Three Stooges-esque.
Yeah.
Where they're just in this situational comedy now, where they all trying to corral this girl, and now Garnick is dealing with a broken nose. Toros is trying to find this needle in a haystack to like annul this marriage. You got Igor, who's like kind of a good guy, which you see later on, and basically like trying to comfort her. And she's like, fuck you, man. You tied me up.
Yeah, you assaulted me. Get the fuck off
You
me.
assaulted me.
Garnick is just like, she's an animal, bro. Look out, she'll bite you.
And they're calling him a Gropnik, which I had no friend, which is basically like a Russian. You know what that is? That's like a very.
No, I assumed it was like just like a.
It's a Russian slang insult for these guys in Russia that would basically wear track suits and Adidas track suits and like squat and just chew on sunflower seeds and spit.
I'm no Gropnik.
Yeah. So they're calling him a Gropnik, which is basically
there's some
slang.
Hilarious scenes where Toros is talking at one point, and in the back you just hear Garnick go strip club, and it's just all these things. And it's like she's an animal.
I mean, the whole Garnick being like concussed in the car, and Toros just being like, "No, you're not leaving," and he's like vomiting all over the place.
Like, it's okay, it's fine. It's like, fuck, it smells in here. My wife has to take this car tomorrow.
And then they cut to the shot. They're on the car. She's like, I'm not getting in that car. And then they cut to her in the car.
Even him driving off the tow truck.
Oh, that's fucking fantastic. And Anora and Annie's just like, you guys are fucking crazy. What the
it's
fuck?
It's literally like she's with the Three Stooges.
That's just a night in New York.
It is. It really is. That's what I love. Going around when they were searching for him, different bars, different clubs. Crazy shit happens. Like, Anthony, we were there. This is New York. Crazy shit happens every night.
But they're going from Coney Island back into Manhattan. That's a long. That's a lot of driving.
That's long. That's why Toros was upset.
If you're at night, it's not too bad.
Not too bad. Okay.
No. Yeah.
So
just like there's no traffic at night.
I love this slow change in Anora, right? She goes from like essentially being kidnapped and tied up to realizing they're both on the same side. She needs to talk to Ivan and reluctantly agrees, okay, let's go find him. Meanwhile, Toros has taken back her wedding ring and he's offered her $10,000 to get this marriage annulled. And she's like, I got to talk to Ivan first, right?
Right.
So slowly she starts to become one of them. And the moment where they go back to the candy shop and they just bust up the candy shop and she's suddenly like, you fucking call him right now. Like she's one of them was fantastic. I was like, oh, she's flipped. She's totally like gangster.
Well, she's not
like
flipped. That. She's basically.
She's got her own ideas.
Yeah, it's an ends to a means. She's got to talk to him.
She needs to talk to him to find out what the fuck is
you're
happening.
starting to see Igor, you're starting to see that Igor is not a bad guy. Like he's been hired for this thing, and he's trying to comfort her, and she's just like, what does she call him? A fucking faggot?
Psychopath.
No,
yeah,
you're a gay faggot or something.
Yeah.
She keeps calling him.
And he goes, "What is this?" And he doesn't even know what it is. But really, at the end, it's a fight. I love it. He's the only one that actually kind of supported her, was on her side, and almost kind of cares for her. And you see that slowly develop.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit because I think you're jumping to the end.
They're running around. Also, I think at some point, we'll get to it. She eventually finds out that fucking Ivan is back at the strip club where they met, and her arch nemesis Diamond is giving him a lap dance.
Well, he's just been basically blacked out.
He's on a
hopping
bender
from strip club to strip club and bar to bar.
Super, super drunk.
Yeah.
And Diamond was like, "Well, I tell you, bitch, 2 weeks." And she turns around and fucking smacks her. That's great. That's a fucking fun scene. So he's so drunk they have to wait in front of the courthouse until the next morning to get the marriage annulled. This plan does not go well because they got married in Nevada and you can't annul the marriage in New York. And meantime, Toros has got to do this before his parents come, and he's just like, fuck.
Anora is in the courtroom basically saying, I don't agree to this annulment.
That's a great scene. Yeah.
I think that where the reality breaks for me is like the minute that she got into that courtroom.
Yeah.
She would have been like, the jig is up. These guys are fucking, I'm under duress. These guys,
they assaulted me.
The cops are there. They're assaulting me. And then she could have had everybody by the balls.
Yeah.
And I feel like that she's a Brooklyn girl. She's smart enough to know that. And for her not to do that, I felt like there's got to be a reason.
Well, instead, she argues that she is actually in love and wants to remain married and hold on to this still.
I think they're to Ruggs' point, I think they're playing that up as more of a comedy scene. So while it does lose you in terms of realism, I think it's meant to make you laugh because there multiple times Toros gets up and he's like, what is she doing? She's not supposed to be speaking. And they're like, dude, sit down. Camel coat, sit down.
Yes, I'm surprised it didn't get thrown out. She's like, she's not supposed to.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to play comedy on that one, but
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's a few opportunities where she could have gotten the upper hand in the situation, because if you do that in court, they can't stop you. You can't do anything. The parents now she's protected.
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. So, and the marriage would have continued.
Maybe she's still thinking about the lifestyle and the money, and maybe. But what happens is, I think she finally realizes when the parents show up and she meets them and they cold shoulder her and they don't like her and they end up.
I mean, like, but no, wait a minute, Imran.
Yeah.
These guys come into the house. Yeah. They break into the house. They tie her up.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. They tell her that she's a piece of shit and they got to get to the marriage and all. Why does she think that the mother, they're the people that sent them to do this? So, like, why is she going to think that the Hail Mary pass to the parents liking her?
I said earlier, though, it's because she's built this confidence, and it's a false sense of confidence that she has because of the fact that she's living.
But she thinks if she could just get the kid.
She could just talk to Ivan.
Yeah.
But she did talk to Ivan. And
that's
and
what
Ivan's,
breaks her, is when Ivan's just like, what did you think? Yeah, he just goes, what'd you expect?
Yeah.
And that's what
before they board the plane, he's like, this is impossible. I got to do what my parents tell me. What'd you think was going to fucking happen? And then on the plane, she just calls him a fucking piece of shit and he's pathetic. Yeah. It's great. They eventually get to the place. Oh, this is when Anora threatens the mom that I didn't sign a prenup. I can get a divorce. I'm going to get half. Right. And the mom is like, if you do that, I'm going to take everything you have.
Right.
She could have wheeled and dealed there, though.
I felt Anora could have asked for way more money. I would have been like, give me $1 million. We'll get this done. No problem.
Well, I think to that point, though, because by 10, the end, I think she just wants to get this over with. Like, this is, she's putting on a face, but as you can see at the end, it's really broken her.
Yeah. But she could ask for a little bit more. Why does she extort more? Anyways, so the great
You're thinking about this logically. Think about if you were in a situation where she's been up 24 hours.
Yes. Then her whole world is turned upside down.
I don't know. I know women. All they think about is how much money they're going to get.
You know these people are rich. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know which women you're talking about, especially a stripper.
I
don't know. It just doesn't fit her.
She knows how rich they are. She knows $1 million ain't going to mean shit to them. I'll be like, give me $1 million fucking dollars. Yeah. Let's do this.
I don't know. I think it's explainable.
The scene where they get to where they annul the papers is also fantastic because she finally does sign it, and as she's leaving, Igor suggests that Ivan apologize. Amazing move, very very chivalrous, very white knighty a little bit, but this is him showing he cares. And the mother's like, my son doesn't apologize to anyone, and she just comes back in and she goes, "That's because your son's a fucking pussy." It's fucking great. And the dad just laughing his ass off this whole time, and she's telling him off.
The dad seems to kind of like agree that this, like, I think that's his, like, that's the little part of him being like, all right, I don't approve of this marriage, but she's kind of funny. She's got something going on.
She's got.
I can appreciate her balls.
Yeah, she's got balls. She's got spunk. And Igor, this whole time, he gives her the scarf. He stands up for her. He's like the only one that's trying to help. And here at the end of the movie, we kind of see
before
this.
Before that, they're watching. He escorts her back to New York.
Yeah,
she can stay at the house one night. They're watching TV together. He's lighting her cigarettes, being a real gentleman.
Yeah,
and then they're kind of like talking, and she's like, "Why the fuck are you talking to me?" And then, but he's still being nice to her.
Yeah.
And then she has this whole thing where she like makes it sexual, and she's like, "Why didn't you rape me?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I'm not a rapist." What do you mean? Like, why would? And then she goes, "That's because you're like," I forget what she says, but she's basically like, "You're fucking gay. That's why you didn't rape me."
Yeah.
Like you have no balls.
Jesus.
He's just like, what the fuck?
Fucking brutal. This fucking girl's crazy. She calls him a psychopath, and she's like, "You would have raped me if nobody was around." He's like, "What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?"
I think no one is around right now.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I mean, this ending is crazy.
Yeah, because I didn't know where it was going at this point.
Yeah, at this point. So
I'm going, are they bang? Like, is this ending in like a fairy tale way where these two are the ones that get together?
Right? You kind of see that coming. So he drives her to an ATM. He gives her the money. He takes her home. And then before she steps out, he pulls out the wedding ring. He fucking snagged it from Toros at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
And he gives it back to her. And now, look, I wanted her to ask for $1 million. She can get some nice change for this ring.
It's probably like a $50,000 ring.
So it kind of makes up for a little bit of all the shit that she went through. And it's a very touching move. And she proceeds to mount him. And it looks like they're starting to bang. But he then tries to very forcefully kiss her, and she's resisting. And he almost kisses her, but she breaks down crying. And that's where the movie ends. And to me, this is
she breaks down crying. He consoles.
And he hugs her, and they embrace in the front seat of the car. And I just see this as everything she has been through. It was coming out. Her getting on top of him was kind of like getting back at Ivan. But this guy has been the only guy who's been nice to her, and she's been through some shit, and it all just kind of comes out. How do you guys read that ending? What it made you think?
I don't know. I feel like it was weird because I feel like he was trying to kiss her forcefully, and that was like, and all of a sudden she did not want to kiss him, but she was trying to bang him. And I was like, okay, I don't know. He wanted intimacy. She did not.
Well, so I think a couple things here. So throughout the movie, when Ivan is banging her, he's banging her really quickly. And she's like, it'd be better if you do it slowly.
Yeah. She's like, let me try it.
And with this guy, so like he gives her the ring. First off, very real. Before when she's mounting him, she licks her fingers to get him a little wet. To make the insertion a little better.
Attention to detail.
Yes,
they're fucking.
Yeah. But she's fucking him like slowly, and I think that's the thing is it's a much more of an intimate like they're fucking out of passion, but they're also like it's kind of like love fucking.
It's like a Stockholm syndrome thing happening.
But then he interprets it as her. Like that they're falling, like they're going for it and they're kissing. Like he wants to kiss her, right? But at that point, she's like, I think the way I'm reading it is, it's like all catching up to her. Where she's like, "What the fuck just happened in my life?"
What do I do? Yeah.
And like that's when she breaks down because she's like, "This guy is like trying to kiss me, and it's like kind of like feels rapey, but I'm the one." Like it's just a whole thing.
Yeah, it's very complex.
Yeah, I think it's very. It's a lot of feelings going on there.
But you kind of feel it all, and it's like it's open to some interpretation.
When it ends, I just went, "Wow,
yeah,
we're ending there."
Yeah. You're like, "Whoa." I like let out a breath. Just imagine when we first meet Igor and he's tied her up and he's holding her down. You're like, there's no scenario in hell that this guy ends up banging this girl, but we get there, and it's surprising, but it's also touching.
It feels.
I felt like even from the get go when he's trying to talk her down from being upset and everything,
he's got something
like
there.
He was
just a good person, though, right? He's just treating her. He's the only one that sees her. I
don't know if he's a good person, but I think he was scoping her out and he was attracted to her and felt bad for her.
Everyone has just dispensed her and disregarded her.
Can't say he's a good person, but he sees her for more than what everyone else sees her as.
He sees what Ivan put her through.
No. Well, yes, of course, but I'm saying he sees her. Everyone in the movie besides him, all the males, everyone in that Russian Armenian gang, all see her as an object, as a piece of meat, as someone that they just need to get rid of. Where he's like, wait a minute, like this is a real person that has gone through, that is going, like she's getting the shit end of the stick here. And like, while he might not be a good person, he's like, this person deserves some respect. Like she's going through it.
Yeah.
And by the end, like she's actually earning some respect by like telling Ivan off, telling the family off. So he just like feels, he feels bad for her.
And you know,
he's a humble dude. Like he drives his grandmother's car.
Yeah, that he keeps mentioning his grandmother's stuff, that he probably takes care of her. I think this gets to her. He also tells her, you don't want to be part of this family. And I agree. Like, I think she dodged a fucking bullet. You don't want to be part of this fucking family. They're a bunch of fucking crazy Russian oligarch psychopaths. But she could have got a little bit more money out of it. Maybe the ring will help. And so at the end, what is the message? Is there a message, or is this just like shit just is going to happen and this is, you got to deal with it?
I feel like you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's like,
a little bit. Yeah, sure.
You're a stripper. I think every stripper or most strippers are looking to land a big whale. That's their ticket out of it, out of the life. Like, listen, if you walk into a strip club and you're a baller, they smell it. They come flocking out, and they want that money. They look at your car keys. They look to see what kind of car you're driving. They look at all that stuff. They're looking to see what you're wearing on your feet.
It was really her speaking Russian was the one thing that, made her special.
Yeah, I guess his English wasn't that great.
She can understand Russian.
Yeah.
So that was why he picked her.
But yeah, I think every stripper was looking for to land that guy. And so I feel like her motivation was completely realistic. And I don't know. I think that on the other hand, if you're a rich dude, you're used to just throwing money at women and using.
I mean,
them.
how much money did he spend? Like, I was trying to keep track. That's a lot of fucking money. If you think about all the things he did.
Yeah, but he's a spoiled kid.
He's a little piece of shit. He's a little spoiled piece of shit.
He's a shitty kid.
Yeah, easily $100,000.
But as far as the message, I mean, movies you can interpret. That's what's cool about movies, especially movies like this that are actually well made and have layers and all that. For me, I didn't really get a message out of it. I thought it was just a really interesting story about following this moment in this dancer's life, this stripper's life, and how she went on this crazy experience, and how throughout the movie we think of her as this kind of strong, in a way, even though she's a stripper, there's a stronger character, right? She's playing the stronger woman that is comfortable with who she is and the life she's living.
Agency, pretty much.
And then by the end, you see that it breaks her, and you kind of end on a note where it's like, you've been laughing this whole time, you've been wanting her to get her comeuppance, and then at the end of the movie, it's just kind of a downer where you're like, fuck.
She's back where she started.
Well, it's been a day. It's been a rough day for her.
That is a day. So how long did the movie take? I probably I think
it was 2
weeks.
Oh, you mean in terms of the movie?
Because when they return, remember, Diamond is 2 weeks to the day.
I think it's a little 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as a wild adventure story, that's
Now let's. I listen to Rewatchables, which is a Bill Simmons podcast, a lot, and one of the things they ask, one of the topics they have is probably an answerable question. So I'm going to take that topic and I'm going to put it here.
Yep.
At the end of this movie, after she's done crying, what happens next with her and Igor? Do they get together? Is that a one-time thing? Do they become lifelong friends? What happens with Igor and Anya?
They never see each other again.
They never see each other again.
I mean, if she's smart and kind of comes to her senses, she would be like, I'm sorry, this shouldn't have happened. I got to go. See you later. That's it. Done.
And she never sees him again?
But maybe Igor is that sympathetic that maybe he checks up on her a couple of days later, just to make sure she's doing okay. Maybe by then she's calmed down and she sees that this is a good guy.
The point of that question, Imran, is to do something like Rugs, where you give an opinion and you stay with it, not to give 7 scenarios.
There's 2 scenarios. I think, I think she don't talk to him ever again. And Igor just had the craziest experience of his life.
I think Igor kind of longs for her, and Anya feels something for him, but also thinks of him as a reminder of the bad thing that happened.
Yeah.
And gets back into the club and never finds her whale, and kind of ends up being 35 and with some broke down dude, and then just has a really, and has to potentially should be going to therapy about shit.
You think she learns any lesson coming out of this? I don't know. She got to make money.
No. I mean, she definitely learns a lesson, but you know, she does it. I think the part of the crying too is she's back at square one.
Yeah.
And she's not even she's less than square one, because they're not going to allow her in that club again.
Right. And her name is probably tarnished.
Yeah, because she just got into a huge brawl in that club.
They all talk to each other. So
they'll let her back in. Sure. No problem.
Lulu will stick up for her. Maybe if she had picked
Those things happen all the time.
If she had picked up the milk, maybe none of this would have happened. Do you ever think about that?
I got to say one thing before we end this thing. I just want to tip my hat to Mickey Madison or whatever. Mikey Madison.
She did great.
Because she had to carry this whole movie.
Yeah.
And she was in a couple of things. She was in that Quentin Tarantino Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
For a scene or two.
Yeah. Real small.
And Margaret Qualley, she was in that movie and was the breakout star, of the starlet of that movie.
Yep.
And she got a lot of work. She was in The Substance. She was in a lot of other movies.
Yeah.
And this one, she didn't really do much. So she really took a huge risk, and she went all out. She was naked. She was grinding on dudes. Yeah. She was Brooklyn accenting. She was
doing all Russian and shit. Yeah.
So she really carried the movie. And this is the role of a lifetime. I don't know if she's going to ever get something like this again. So
it's deserving of the Oscar, absolutely. You know, I wanted Demi to win just because, like, of the whole thing, but as for pure talent and craft and what you went through in this absolutely is the Oscar-winning performance.
I mean, she holds up the whole movie.
Yeah, the movie. I mean, the movie rests on her, and at least for me, I think it just feels like she feels so real.
Yeah,
she definitely carries the movie, but the way it feels very, I thought a lot of it felt very authentic.
Yeah, and the whole movie is like that. It just feels like you're just following her around, and it's almost like a documentary.
Do you feel like there was a lot of ad libs?
I feel like there was maybe some improv here and there. Definitely in the strip club parts in the beginning where she's just walking around talking to people, and maybe in that lot of all that yelling and talking over each other. So no,
very Precious Gems. What's the name?
Uncut Gems.
Uncut
yes,
Gems.
I've heard it. Yes, compared to that kind of thing.
Uncut Gems, where it has that tension.
Yeah,
it doesn't sustain it for long enough, but like it does have it there.
And you wonder if there's danger, if it's going to get violent, but then you realize no, these guys don't want to hurt her. So then it kind of is like a comedic tone, but also a dire situation and
it's like a nice gangster movie.
Yeah, it's like a friendly. Let's do this. How about you rank this based on the last 5 best picture? Last 4. Well, I know we've seen 4 of these. One of us may have seen all 5. So the last 5 best picture winners: Anora, Oppenheimer, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Coda, Nomadland. I've seen 4 of those.
I've only seen 3.
Okay. Ruggs, have you seen all 5 of those?
I haven't seen Coda.
Okay, yeah. Coda's the one I haven't seen.
Yeah, but I heard that's not that great anyway.
How does this, for me, out of these movies, I fucking really love Everything Everywhere All at Once. I will put that at the top. And then maybe Oppenheimer and then Anora.
I would actually go Oppenheimer, Anora.
Everything
Everywhere All at Once is good, but
I love that movie.
It's a good movie. Trust me, it's a great movie.
So you would do Oppenheimer, Anora, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Nomadland is definitely at the bottom.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
For me, I've seen Anora, Oppenheimer, Nomadland. Probably should watch those other 2. I will at some point, just because this movie did tickle my Oscar fancy. I could feel, as I was sitting there, I could feel Anthony Polanski kind of rumbling up my stomach and coming out and wanting to like burst out of my chest. Like I could feel the rumblies in my tumblies, and all of a sudden a knife coming inside of my chest and ripping back out, but I was able to sustain and put him back in. God. Yeah. Okay. I shunned Anthony Polanski, but it felt like he might come back.
Is there. Wow.
Yeah.
I want him back.
Yeah.
I want him back.
I don't know if we want him back or not, because he definitely drinks with. I mean, he's very foo-foo. He's a fart sniffer, that kind of guy.
Movie snobs.
Yeah. He's not very pleasant.
You don't got to be a movie snob to like Anora, though, I think.
No, I don't think you have to be a movie snob to not like Anora.
Yeah.
That said, of the 3 that I've seen, I would actually rank Anora number 1. I think Oppenheimer is a better made movie.
Yeah.
But it's also got way more money. Anora in a bigger, better cast. Anora, I think, is just a more like I could throw Anora on again. Oppenheimer, I'm never going to watch that again.
That's a good point. I would not watch Oppenheimer.
Nomadland is of the 3. No, I mean, Nomadland's. That's a fucking boring movie.
We should have reviewed Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm really curious if you want to watch it. It's fucking wild. I love it. Oppenheimer, I agree. I wouldn't watch it again. Anora, for $6 million. Sean Baker also cast this movie, and I think the casting is very good. They're actually adding next year. There will be a casting Oscars category added to the. He would have won that, I think, this year. He would have won fucking 6 Oscars.
Let me ask you both. You put on your best tuxedo.
Yeah.
Walk down that red carpet.
Yeah.
You get a little ballad at the end of all the movies you've seen in 2024. Is Anora the movie you're going, this is the best picture in the world? I'm saying it like as if I'm a spoof guy.
I can't even remember what I saw this year, but I would say that Nosferatu is definitely a player. I would definitely say that Anora is a player. And I didn't see like all these other ones. I didn't see Kong.
Yeah, the 10 movies again, it went up against Emilia Perez, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Nickel Boys, I'm Still Here, The Substance.
I didn't see all
Dune
those.
Part 2, Wicked, Anora, The Brutalist. Now,
I saw Wicked.
Wait,
Anora's way better than Wicked.
Okay.
Better than Dune Part 2?
I don't know. I think
Such
it's
a
tied.
different
But
movie.
I think Anora's a great movie, though. I don't know. It's a good movie.
What about you?
I think it's good.
What about you, Eminem?
I saw Emilia Perez, Conclave, Dune Part 2, The Substance.
I'm not even
and
of these
Anora.
movies. I'm just talking about the movies you've seen
Of the
this
year.
year. This 2020.
I mentioned that because The Substance really has still stuck with me. This is a wild movie that's really good, has a great message. It sticks with you. I really wish it got a little more love, but I don't. Again, I hesitate to say yes. This is the best movie of the year because Conclave was really good too.
What about Strange Darling? You don't think that was
Strange
good?
Darling was very good and surprising and a complete.
It's a lot like Anora, I think, too.
Low budget.
It's got this woman's performance that hangs the whole movie on it.
Yep.
And it gets batshit crazy. And it's got the Quentin Tarantino.
Which movie is this again?
It's called Strange Darling.
Strange Darling.
Very low budget movie. We both
That wasn't
saw.
even nominated for anything.
I know, and I would probably say I think I like that better than Anora.
Yeah,
because that is very Quentin Tarantino. Where this one's kind of like trying to be, but it just is.
Well, this one's more of like a more romantic.
Yeah,
it's a more romantic movie.
It's like a dark.
Because it's like, oh, this dream is happening.
Yeah.
Strange Darling has that for about 5 minutes in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it goes crazy. But
I haven't seen The Brutalist. And I hear this is fucking amazing and it's epic, and so maybe that should have been the best movie. So I think it's interesting that they picked this based on its subject matter.
I mean, it's definitely not the type of movie that the Oscars would have picked. As a best picture. I do like. As I was thinking about this, I do like the black comedy kind of genre. That's satiric, like not satirical. It's black dark comedy.
Dark comedy. That's what this is.
Which is what this is called, like a dark comedy drama. I think it's a fun.
Did you watch Poor Things?
No, I haven't seen that. One of them is in that too, I think.
She might be in it, but like that's
similar, right?
Not really similar. It's like if you took Frankenstein and this movie and put them together.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what that is?
I mean, it is a lot of fucking, right? Like a girl just being fucked.
Yeah. It's about a guy who creates a woman, or like, I don't know if she creates, but I forget. It's like some kind of a Frankenstein thing where he raises this woman as like that's a grown up child. So she's like fully grown, but she's like a child in her mind.
Yeah.
And she just discovers like masturbating and like sex.
Okay.
And she just runs around and fucks everything that moves.
Wow.
And they're trying to get her like put the genie back in the bottle, but she's like, imagine you were like a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old, but with a woman's body, and you're running around just like, oh, it's fun to fuck, and she doesn't know it's bad or good or whatever, and they're trying to fucking control her, and she starts to like have control over her own sexuality. She starts working at she likes having sex with her. She starts becoming a prostitute, and it was a good movie. I mean, it reminded me of. You take it, it's like a little bit of Quentin Tarantino, a little bit of some weird, very, very weird, weird set design. It's an experience, but yeah, but like there's a lot of movies that are like really cool that we don't get to watch because they're so offbeat and crazy. But that's another one.
Poor Things.
I remember.
Poor Things.
Yeah, that one got nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah,
last year.
It was in the run. Yep. It's on Hulu, I think. You can watch it. It's on streaming somewhere. All right. Anyways, let's wrap this up. Final thoughts. Anthony, give me final thoughts. Give me a number.
I had a really good time with this movie. I didn't know what to expect. It was a similar experience to when I watched Parasite when I first got into the Oscars, where I went, I don't know what to expect in this movie. And I watched it and I went, whoa.
Yeah.
That was cool. You know, not as big of a, obviously Parasite's much more of a twist and gets really dark. This is more of a dark comedy. But I just liked following Anora or Annie and Ivan, and I was wrapped up in her journey, and I liked the switches and tones from kind of this peek into a dancer life, strip club life, to a fairy tale fucking movie.
Yeah.
With a goofy lead actor with the Russian kid, Vanya, Ivan.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a goofball chase, and then it becomes like this like family drama with her stuck in the middle, and then kind of ends on a really sad note, where she's back to square one, and you followed her, and all of this was for naught. Like, at anything, it just probably broke her. While she's probably has more money, it's emotionally she's probably a wreck now after something like this. So doesn't leave you feeling good. Whole range of emotions. I really enjoyed it. 10 out of 10.
Damn.
10 out of 10. I had a great fucking time with it.
Rugs.
The type of movie that makes when I watch a movie like that, I go, man, I should get out of my wheelhouse sometimes and watch.
No, it does make you appreciate like indie movies and just movies and storytelling.
Yeah, just other
good
movies.
Editing in general. Yeah. Regs, final thoughts, score.
I give it an 8.5. It's definitely a recommend.
Yeah.
Definitely a tour de force for Mikey Madison, and another great movie by Sean Baker. I think he did a great job. He made this movie all by himself pretty much.
Yeah.
He shot it, hardly any money.
Yeah.
Edited it, did the whole thing, and it works really well. And I like to watch his movies. It's just like him and Robert Eggers. I like that movie.
We got two like interesting auteur directors there. His wife is also a producer on this movie. Also, I heard all like the sex scenes, Sean Baker and his wife would show Mikey Madison like what they wanted her to do.
That's weird.
It's a little strange, but she felt very comfortable with them. And this was a question about intimacy coordinator, and she didn't want one because she had them showing her kind of what, the positions and the moves. I thought that was interesting. But I gotta give this. It's a 9. It's a very fun, charming, engaging, entertaining movie. And yeah, Sean Baker's efforts and achievement, having done everything, are very impressive. Mikey Madison's great. All the cast is great. Like the characters are all great. You just love watching them do things. And it's good.
It's just to add to it's a movie where it's blending multiple genres like drama, comedy, thriller,
like real life
action. So it takes you on the roller coaster of emotions where you're laughing and then feeling sad and then not knowing what's going to happen and feeling peril and danger. So yeah, I just wanted to add, he does a really good job of like blending genres, which I always enjoy in movies, is when you can blend things and you're just feeling a whole bunch of shit throughout the movie.
When the story can do that to you, you've definitely succeeded in the emotional journey. But again, and then it's very like life, where it's quirky, it's offbeat, it's dark, you know what's going to happen, it's funny, all those things. Great, it's a fun time, and yeah, by the end you're just like, whoa, that was something.
Yep.